From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a huge Saturday early morning here on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. The President of the United States signed into law yesterday a major legislation that anchors fourth stimulus to the finish line. It is wonderful. A week ago today, he made the announcement, and yesterday he signed into law. We'll go over this major deal about fourth stimulus in this recording. We'll go over the monthly stimulus check that the Democrats in the House, the Senate, and the President want you to have. Then we'll be cutting the fifth stimulus that ironically has a stimulus check in it as well. But the big benefit lift that you'll get and why the President's dedicating an additional $1 billion to the system to ensure you get that money on time. Then we'll be turning to the thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get. One got $6,000 this week. We'll be going over how you can get it as well. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and let's get to it, starting this beautiful Saturday morning on Early Mornings LALATE. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. How are you doing? I hope you have special plans to be with me this weekend. Don't leave me alone. I'm going to feel like leftover bacon. So, hope the weather is good where you are. Drop in the comments where you're watching from and how the weather is. I look forward to seeing great weather comments from you. But I'm certainly going to see some heat wave comments as well. Expect it to be nice here in Santa Monica this weekend. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we're going to go over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats in the House, the President, and in the Senate want you to have. We'll be going over all the details and the wonderful deal the President signed into law yesterday about fourth stimulus. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus that actually has a stimulus check in there. Yes, that's a surprise. And that raises your benefits up lifetime, but why that lift up may be a lot more than anticipated. And then the middle's recording, we go over the big money you can get, and you're going to get it starting right today. This is LALATE, your only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Currently live on the channel is Overnight's Crypto. This show you're watching right now, Early Mornings LALATE, when you're done, stay here. It'll take you automatically to Overnight's Crypto. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. Every single like, and consider becoming a member. Let's get into that House bill and that Senate proposal for your fourth stimulus check starting right now. The House bill provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal provides a stimulus check from now to December. Let's look at the monthly payouts. A House bill, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate amount unknown, but word on the street. This is what the senators, Democrats, would give you. Wow. Per person. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. That is incredible. Now, if you're watching the show just after 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate, but not just yet. Let's look at that payout again. Legislative insiders believe that they may claim the pandemic's over. That would result in 12 months of stimulus checks, not pandemic plus 1 year, but just 1 year, which would amount to $13,000 over 12 months. How does that compare to the senators? A lot less, about the same, just in double the amount of time. So jump in the chat right now and tell me which one you like. House or Senate, House or Senate. Boy, I think we're going to be split on this one. House or Senate, and tell me where you're watching from and who you vote for. All right, let's go over everything else you need to know about that fourth stimulus check. The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So if you're a single individual, $75,000 or less, the Democrats want you to have a stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, they want you to have double fourth stimulus check, double the amount. Family of four, the Democrats want you to have 4 times the stimulus check. And then finally, if you're on benefits, the Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. Individuals, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, yes, there you go. The forced stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The forced stimulus check would not come in waves, so don't wave at it. It won't wave back at you. It doesn't know you. Hi, Jack. No, I don't. You didn't wave back at me. It's a monthly check, can't come out in waves. And then the forced stimulus check would have the same amount for individuals, adult dependents, and everyone else the Democrats so propose. They also propose that the vote would be by July 4th. That means that you get a stimulus check in the month of July for the month of July, in the month of August for the month of August they represent. And there you go. That is the first of 3 parts of your forced stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. But coming up in the second part, I'm going to go over the breaking news and that major deal the president signed yesterday about fourth stimulus. It is wonderful. But here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, which has its own stimulus check in it, yes. But we're going to go over, more importantly, the benefits reform and the economic data that came out on Thursday that suggests that in addition to raising your benefits up, that benchmark of inflation could go through the roof with your benefits. Wow, we are getting exciting here. But now let's cut back to some big money that's for you. If you're new to this channel, what I do on this channel is I get people money. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL in spring of 2020. I got them $250,000 in fall of 2020 when we didn't see second stimulus going out the door for rent and utilities. Now we're doing it again. I'm going to go over rent for you, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowners utilities, and more. And let's get to it. But first, get a pen and paper ready. I got a lot of money to get you throughout this entire video. Stay to the very end. And it starts with $350 billion for you. Well, it's not all for you. What do you think? This is the Publishers Clearinghouse? No, it's a share. And it's coming from the federal government to the local city, county, and states for you to share. For rent and utilities, and it's about $5,000 for rent, about 4 to 6 months of rent. How do you get it? Let's go over all the details. You're going to reach out to different locations, and each location has different yeses and nos. So if you get a yes and a no at one, go to the next till you get a yes. They also have their own pot of money, different eligibility. You're going to reach out to City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say is rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. So don't cite lyrics to a song they never heard of. And don't say stimulus either. They don't know that word either. And there you go, $5,000 for rent. Well, Tim and Linda got that. The next pot of money is even bigger. And anyone that gets money inspire someone else. So if you're one of those viewers that's watching right now and you've got anywhere from $1 to $50,000 or $70,000 for this channel, drop in the comments what you got, because inspire someone else. Let's go over all that incredible detail, starting right now with one person who got $560 a month, and she inspired us this last Month's day. It is for this amount of money, and $560 a month, yeah, that's about $6,000 to $7,000 a year. It is Snap. Snap is absolutely one of the game changers of this channel. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom, and Gail got it. What is it? It is money from the federal government. It is money for your food. How do you get it? Reach out to the Department of Agriculture, DOA. How much does it pay? A fortune. Family of 4 in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits 15%. So go get it. As that one viewer, she got $6,000 to $7,000 on Monday. So there you go. $16,000 for SNAP for family of 4 in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent. We are killing it, and we're only 9 minutes of this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. $5,000 of it for one viewer as well. This is money coming from the states via the federal government. The federal government identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to computer error. Not your computer. Your computer works fine. It's the state's computer. It's just wacko. And they overpaid your benefits, then said, return your money back to us so we can go buy a new computer. No, they didn't say that. But they said return the money back. Well, the federal government has stepped in and said, it wasn't your fault the state computer was wacko. You should have been able to keep the money, and they should go buy a new computer. And now the federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you. Wow. So one viewer got $5,000 for all this. How do you get it? on the direct deposit that you have on file with the unemployment department of your state. When, reach out to your state for routing times. The next pot of money is even better. And COD dropped into overnight's LALATE just a few days ago, actually about a week ago, which is currently playing live on this channel, to tell you that he had gotten the money. He wanted to help you. That's the spirit of this channel. Viewers continue to get this money. They want me to tell you that be patient, it's coming. What is it? It is money coming back from the federal government that you paid taxes on for your 2020 unemployment benefits. Here's an example. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid total $5,000 of taxes to IRS on that 2020 return, of which $4,000 was your taxes for unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you are getting back $4,000 from IRS. Next, when? The money is coming in the month of June. How? Direct deposit if you have that set up on that 2020 return. Otherwise, it's coming in the mail. And then the big question, can you track it? Yes, 70% of the time you can track it. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password for free. Put your social security number in and do a transcript search. The transcript search 70% of the time works and reveals the activity on your account, the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, and the refund you are getting. And there you go. Can we top that? We can. With the second half of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today, starting right now. Well, the president in the last 24 hours, yesterday, overseas, signed a major piece of legislation for the fourth stimulus package. It's a game changer. I'm going to broadly tell you what it is before we go over the specifics. But basically, by having the global leaders around the globe sign this ancillary legislation for fourth stimulus, he now no longer needs certain provisions in the fourth stimulus package. He's got it covered internationally. Wow. So where are we on this fourth stimulus right now? We're currently in the reconciliation process. We will be done by July 4th. This is all what the Democrats are representing. The Democratic House members, the Democratic senators, the president all want you to have stimulus checks. They're currently marking up the bill. That means that they're currently modifying the language of the bill. The bill is going through the subcommittee levels currently. The caucus of the Democrats is fully aligned. Joe Manchin is aligned. Everyone is ready to vote in favor of the legislation. And there you go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over all the details of how we got to that point and then come up to the point of the major deal the president signed yesterday and explain to you slowly what it means because it's a little bit complicated. All right, first, it started the Friday before Memorial Day weekend when the leader Schumer told news three major announcements. Number one, that the reconciliation process is underway. Number two, that it'll be finished by July 4th. Number three, that it will pass on July 4th. Wow. Now, how did we get to that point? A week earlier, Jalopal wrote Schumer a letter saying, call the vote. Now, we're not so much concerned about the letter as rather who signed it. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who were among the 100 House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package when we write it. Wow, now that's really good. Can we top that? We can. A week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter. And when they wrote the president a letter, what did they say? They said, Mr. President, we are going to put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Wow, who are these people? Well, they are the people who are on the subcommittee that is responsible for writing stimulus checks. That subcommittee is solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. And they are too? They are. They wrote your first stimulus check, your second stimulus check, your third stimulus check, and now they say they're going to write not just your fourth stimulus check, but also your fifth stimulus check. Yes, that's coming up in the second half of this video. Wow, now that is incredible news. Can we top that? And yes, we can. Which brings us up to the president signing a major piece of legislation yesterday. For you to understand what that legislation is and how we got to that point and how this was a major surprise by the president, let me explain what's at issue. It started a recent Tuesday ago when I told you that something very complicated happened for fourth stimulus, that I need to slow it down when I do these recordings because it needs to be simplified. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. But once the president had announced that, he also said, I'm worried that by doing that, U.S. businesses, corporations, may leave U.S. soils and move overseas to find a lower corporate tax rate overseas, let's say France. So the president had an idea. He reached out to global leaders called the G7 countries and said, maybe we can raise the global minimum corporate tax rate. So that would dissuade businesses from leaving our country and going to yours. They tentatively agreed. Great news. The president later that Tuesday told his legislative team that I'm going to get those G7 countries in August or September after forced stimulus is passed and have them sign on the dotted line about that. Well, he also said that after they sign it, then he'll drop provisions out of forced stimulus that he no longer needs. Wonderful news. Provisions about corporate tax rate, not about other stuff. Wonderful, wonderful news. Which brought us up to last Friday, not yesterday, but a week ago. I had told you that because my job is to find everything you need to know, I found a buried news article that said the president was meeting with the G7 country leaders the next day, Saturday, a week ago today. And I said I didn't know why, but tune into Mornings LALATE. And a week ago today, on Mornings LALATE, I broke the news that the president had gotten the G7 countries to agree to it, that he was going to sign it into law in person this week. Well, that happened. Yesterday, Friday, the president signed into law the provision of the global minimum corporate tax rate this last Friday, yesterday, before forced stimulus was passed, to anchor forced stimulus over the finish line. Instead of leaving this to be done in August or September after forced stimulus is passed, he has now signed into law internationally before forced stimulus to anchor forced stimulus over the finish line, making forced stimulus now even easier to pass. Why? Because now he can remove provisions from forced stimulus as to the corporate taxes that are no longer needed because they're in the international legislation. Wow. Now that's smart, and it's also brilliant. And it's wonderful, wonderful news. In essence, now forced stimulus can pass easier because they don't need extra provisions about corporate taxes, about businesses that are in two countries or moving between two countries. He can now take out that confusing stuff from the forced stimulus because it's now protected by international treaty. Wow. Now that is incredible news. Can we top that? We can with the volunteers. The volunteers are here to help you get that rent, utilities, and internet and assistance for mortgage help if you can't find it as well. They're in the description of this video. Open the description of this video and go down until you see an emoji of a house. Then next to that emoji of a house is a link to the community page, news.la.com/community. Click that link and it sends you over to the community page. Reach out to the volunteers. If you've had problems getting rent, utilities, don't worry. Don't worry, because we have people just like you helping one another. And the volunteers, will help you find that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, or mortgage or homeowners utilities as well. In the second half of this video, I'll be going over the other details. In the third part of our fourth stimulus check update, we'll be going over the fifth stimulus check, the major lift of your benefits under fifth stimulus, the surprising details about an economic data that came out on Thursday that suggests your fifth stimulus could be going through the roof, and my personal impressions about what you should anticipate next week about fourth stimulus. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds, but first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LALATE. As the toast is toasted and the butter is buttering, the coffee's brewing, I'm here, you're here. And so is the fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus updates as well. How are you? It's Early Mornings LALATE. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to subscribe and be part of this family. Like this video, 3,000 likes. Don't forget to like the video. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. Every like helps. Also consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Let's get right into fifth stimulus. But first, let me explain all the big fifth stimulus news. There was a lot of it this Friday and Thursday. It starts by understanding this item. In the spring of this year, when you saw third stimulus checks go out, we had a lot of talk about, I didn't get my stimulus check on Direct Express by Comerica card. I'm on SSI and SSDI. I don't see my third stimulus check. Someone else got their check. They're paying me late. What was all that about? It was about the Social Security Administration needing more funding, needing more staffers, needing newer computers, needing better processes. So what's going on? The president this week, in a major great news, announced he's dedicating $1 billion in his new budget bill to fund that agency to make sure they are ramped up and newly modernized to ensure your benefits and payments get out on time like everyone else's. This is huge because remember, you're entitled to a fourth stimulus check, you're entitled to a fifth stimulus check, and you're entitled to this SSI and SDI reform lifts. And so there's a lot of money that you're entitled to, and he wants to make sure that you get the money on time. The second thing that happened for fifth stimulus was a big surprise, which was on Thursday. The Consumer Price Index number was released. What does the CPI number mean? It tracks the price of goods. How much do they cost? Food, gas, electric, cars. Well, the number showed the highest growth in 1 year, May of last year to May of this year, as seen in nearly 30 years. What does that signal? It signals a massive inflation rate coming later this year. This is what Wall Street is talking about when they're thinking about fifth stimulus, is they say that the inflation rate is going to keep on going up until it reaches one peak and then comes back down quickly. They call that peak temporary or transitory, meaning there's going to be a massive peak at one point. Well, that peak of that inflation is critical because there's going to be an inflationary benchmark in the fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus will involve raising your benefit limits, removing the asset limit, adding a new benchmark, which will be inflation, and then removing income exclusion and removing the marriage penalty. Let's go over why that temporary spike of a huge inflation number is great news for beneficiaries. First, they'll raise up your benefits one time under fifth stimulus. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, Survivor benefits, SSA, you're going to get that one-time rise. Then they'll step you up by applying a benchmark its first year, which is December. Well, what's the number going to be? What's the inflation rate going to be? If it was 0%, you wouldn't step up because 0 is 0. If it's 1%, you would barely step up at all. But we had thought that the inflation rate may be plus 6%. Let's go over that. If it was plus 6%, then you would step up 6%, but not just next year, lifetime. Because the way that benefits works is they step you up and they never step down. So the inflation rate the year after that is 0, then you're still at plus 6%. But here's why Thursday's number about the Consumer Price Index number is so critical. Because if inflation is going to a very high peak level later this year, you want to hope it hits that peak right when they apply the benchmark in December. Because you'll grab that peak as your benchmark this year and step up lifetime because you never step down. After that, the temporary spike will go away for inflation, but you will still have the benefits lifetime. Oh boy, you see now how this is wonderful news. Then they're going to remove the asset limit. protect a 1980 law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away just in time to get those stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the income exclusion dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't have more than a certain amount of money, that you can't work and stay on benefits. And then finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Penalizes people from getting married and prevents them from getting married. So love is going to win, and you will be able to marry your longtime love interest. Well, what else is in fifth stimulus? There's a lot in fifth stimulus that's for you, a lot that's in fourth stimulus, and a lot that's in third stimulus. Much of the money is application based under third stimulus. And unless you apply for it, you won't get it. So consider becoming a member. Daily, the members are sent from me via the YouTube page a breakdown of what's in the fifth stimulus, what's in the fourth stimulus, and what's in the third stimulus, because it's thousands of dollars. For example, on the third stimulus, we all knew there was going to be a $1,400 stimulus check. But viewers quickly learned from me, who are members, that there was $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of money for them. As that one viewer got, $6,000 to $7,000 in SNAP because of watching the videos and understanding that was for that person and getting the links from the description. So consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat or the pinned comment. All right, now let's turn to that fifth stimulus check that a lot of you have been asking about. Yes, that letter from those 7 House Democrats, the president, talk about putting a fourth stimulus check in the fourth stimulus package, but also a fifth stimulus check in the fifth stimulus package. And you have wondered how would they do that and when would they do that? This is my impression of what they're thinking. They're thinking of fourth stimulus running now to December and fifth stimulus check starting in January. Remember, fifth stimulus goes to a vote around October, November. So potentially they're thinking instead of sending out the fifth stimulus check in November, it would start in January, when fourth stimulus potentially may end. Interesting. So very, very fascinating details. Which brings us back to fourth stimulus right now. Let's go over everything else that you need to know about the fourth stimulus package right now in the check. First, it's important to know the process and where we are. If you just joined the live chat, let me give you a recap of where we are on the fourth stimulus right now. We're currently on the recon. That recon brings us to the finish line by July 4th. The recon is currently marking up the language of the bill. The House Democrats, the Senate Democrats, the President all want you to have a fourth stimulus check. You're not going to hear about fourth stimulus checks from Republicans or conservative media because they aren't giving it to you. The fourth stimulus check is suddenly front page news in broadcast media now. And the exciting details about that fourth stimulus check are that the markup is currently underway. But it's important to know how this is done. It's done through a 9-step voting process. It starts with half of it being procedural and the second half being substantive. Step 1, the House subcommittee calls a procedural vote. Step 2, the House floor calls a procedural vote. Step 3, the Senate calls a procedural vote. Step 4, the President signs into law. At that point, the tow truck is passed over the finish line. Time to go get the tow hitch, the substantive bill. Step 6, the House subcommittee writes up and passes the substantive bill. That's what they're marking up right now. It could have stimulus checks in there. It could not. We'll see what happens. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8, 2 critical days, the final 2 days before the bill becomes law. That's the Senate vote-a-rama, 48 hours. During that vote-a-rama, senators introduce amendments to whatever they got from the House. If the House has no stimulus checks in there, the senators can add them in there. If the House does have stimulus checks in there, the senators can leave it alone or they can amend it. And step 9, the president signs it into law. Finally, a personal message to you about the fourth stimulus package. It's important for you to know that the pushing of social media is critical. And while you have done a little bit, someone had a beautiful message yesterday, Friday afternoon on social media to me, Twitter, specifically saying, tell people to stop playing with their phones, that's what the person said, and tell them to start pushing. Stop taking things for granted and start pushing. Wow, those are really great words. Here's what you need to know. You can't sit back and say, I've heard that I'm really excited, or I haven't heard, I'm very upset. No. And you also can't say, I'm crossing my fingers. No, you got to uncross those fingers and go on social media. Tweet your elected officials. Tag your elected officials. Hashtag MSC. Hashtag Purple Power. Contact them. Call them on the phone. Don't take anything for granted. You need to push because now is the time to push. You literally have a 30-day window to push. After that, it's done. You can't push after the legislation is voted upon and into law. You have to push when they're writing the legislation. Now is the time to be pushing. And while I have seen some tweets, I haven't seen much. I haven't seen a large amount of them. So it should be hashtag Purple Power, hashtag MSC. Share these videos or share whatever tweet or meme or GIF you want to post. Make sure you tag elected officials. Call them on the phone. Remember, elected officials have passed laws but not sent out money. They've proposed bills that never got to law because they never called it to a vote. They've proposed legislation but never wrote the bill. And they've proposed things but never wrote the proposal. So you can't take anything for granted with an elected official. And finally, it's important to stay focused, motivated, and more. Throughout the day, I'll also be detailing other items of the fourth stimulus. In the extended broadcast later today on Mornings LALATE and noontime, I will be going over the other facets, like the protagonista and the end of that telenovela of the fourth stimulus. It's over, so it's not much of a news story anymore. And we'll be going over where the fourth stimulus will start up next week. It's going to be an exciting week. And with that, stay informed. I don't want you to miss anything across the board. Subscribe. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Remember to subscribe and remember to like the video. And stay with this video. It'll take you automatically to Overnight's LA once this video is over. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful early morning's broadcast. I'm excited for you to enjoy a beautiful weekend, but also stay with me because the breaking news is far from over. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.